Another however, effect is that in reality we cannot hide emotions. If you want to look at the diagrams before that, look at page E2. You have a chart? Yeah. This is the psychology of connected containers. What does this say? When we are deeply connected with another person, it's like there is a subterranean connecting line between us, and we're like two containers filled with water with a common base. Now what happens when I suppress the water in one of those containers? It goes up in the other. And if I suppress it in the other, it goes up in the opposite. So what happens when I'm in a relationship, such as parent-child relationship or spouse relationship with someone, and I suppress my feelings? I'm not expressing them overtly, but underneath all of that, from solar plexus to solar plexus, without words, all of these emotions are transferred. So we see in the first example, a man who is not able to express his fear and may have fear, may be sending all of that fear subconsciously to his wife, who is able to express it. And so she expresses not only his fear, but her fear, but also his. Or in the opposite case, a woman who has been programmed not to express anger, with a man who expresses freely his anger, but has anger, will be subconsciously passing her anger on to him, and then she feels doubly abused because she's not expressing her anger, and he's expressing double anger, hers and his, and she can't understand why. But I'm attracting anger. I'm attracting my own anger. I'm expressing my own anger through the other persons who are around me because I'm unable to express it. Now, we're not saying that everyone has to express their anger here, but the reality is that whatever I'm feeling is already being received by the important persons around me. I'm just kidding myself and kidding them by not talking about it. And here the great problem is that because no one is acknowledging the existence of these emotions, they cannot be discussed and solved. And so we are arguing and feeling hurt about other things, other matters, because we cannot discuss the real matters, because we're not discussing the real things which are upsetting us and our real needs. So perhaps the worst thing about suppressing of emotions is that actually it's just a waste of time, because they're being received anyway. And it's even worse because they're not being received consciously, and thus they cannot be worked with. On the other hand, when we just freely express our emotions without any kind of respect for other people around us, hurting their feelings, demeaning them, causing them to feel rejected, unloved, demeaned, then this has the opposite effect, that we begin to lose the love of this person. They begin to withdraw from us. They may even become vindictive or aggressive back to us. And gradually, our source of happiness, at least at this stage of our evolution, which is this harmonious relationship with this other person, is destroyed. So in the one case, we destroy our own health, and we become isolated from sources of creativity and intuition and power within ourselves. In the other case, we destroy our relationships. But perhaps the worst in the second case is that we cease to evolve. Because what is our mindset? Everyone else is wrong, and I'm the only right one. And so when I get into this state, that all of my problems are very easily solved. I accuse the others, I yell at the others, and then I relax. And I have no stimuli for growth. Because there's no sense for myself to look at myself because the others are to blame. So when someone is working in this psychological state, simply yelling and screaming and accusing others every time he doesn't feel well, he not only destroys his relationship, but he loses every possibility of growth because he has no stimulus for self-examination. At least the other person who is taking some responsibility for what he feels and does not believe that everyone else around him is to blame for his reality, has the stimulus to begin looking and to see what he's going to do. The other person just solves his problem by accusing the world. So neither of these solutions is very effective. So we're going to be looking in this seminar for other possibilities. We're not interested in suppressing, and we're not interested in being totally controlled. I would suggest that this is like a river. If we stop the flow of the river, then everything downstream will dry up. If we allow the river to continuously flood, everything downstream will be destroyed. So we need to learn to take this river, not to stop it, not to allow it to overflow continuously and destroy everything around it, but to channel that energy in a positive way so as to irrigate all of that which is downstream and create a paradise in our lives. So emotions connect us. A person who does not work with his emotions has no connection with other persons. It's the connecting energy which allows us to feel love and unity with other persons. If we stop those, we are not taking the emotional nutrients that we need in order to survive physically, emotionally, and spiritually. On the other hand, if we're totally controlled by them, we're destroying those relationships with other persons around us. So, how are we going to work on this? We're going to try to look at these emotional mechanisms and see how they are working in our lives. These emotional mechanisms are made up of 4 parts in the beginning. After a few weeks, we'll be adding a 5th part and a 6th part and a 7th part. But for the first few weeks, it's made up of 4 parts. The first part is the stimulus. So all this week, I would like you to observe the times in which you have certain emotions which are unpleasant to you. And I would like you to ask, what is the stimulus? What exactly is happening or has happened? What is that which is triggering this emotional state? So we write down, the stimulus is this. The stimulus is that which my friend just told me at this moment. It's the news that I heard. It's the loss of this event. It's this accident which occurred, whatever it is. This failure. Or it could be something positive. But I would suggest that we don't analyze our positive emotions at this time because we don't want to destroy those emotional mechanisms at this time. Let's leave those as they are, at least for now, and look at what is unpleasant to us.